Hello, welcome to A Tale of Three Cabins. On my last video, if you remember, I did a little flashback to when we were first building this cabin and showing you some of the gravel being dumped in a driveway. So we're going to talk about the origin story of this cabin, and we're going to cover the prep work before you build a cabin and up to delivery. So there's not going to be any John Deere tractors in it, but it's going to have some backhoes, some bulldozers, a lot of stone delivery, and you might find it interesting. So come check it out. So it starts back in the early 1990s. I spent quite a few years working two jobs, averaging 60 to 80 hours a week, and we saved up enough money to buy this vacant lot. A little less than 3 acres. We purchased it and sat on it for a couple of years. In the meantime, I had a house that I, in today's terms, I guess you would say flipped, but I lived in it for 7 years, gutted each room, replaced the windows, replaced the wiring, replaced the roof, and essentially doubled its value and used a lot of that equity to start the preparation for building a house. Our local convention center held its annual home and garden show, and I knew one of the participants was going to be a log home company that I was looking into with great interest. The model that they had there actually checked all the boxes that I was looking for. It had a great room, it had a loft, it had overhangs on the side walls to protect the log walls, a nice front porch. I liked the way that the corners of the logs fit together. I liked the system they used for settling. So it seemed with a few modifications of the floor plan that this would be the house to build.
Yes, please don't eat it. It's been there for several days and it has a little sawdust and a little dirt from the landscaping.
So I signed a contract with Heritage Log Homes, headquartered in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. At that time, you were able to lock in a package price for 2 years, and I ended up using every bit of the 2 years. So in that time, I contacted the utilities that I would need, each one, the water department, electric. Found out if I would need poles, could I go underground, the type of septic system I would need. I started visiting sites where the same company were building houses in my area. I'd go there from time to time, take videotape, watch the workers construct it, get ideas, decide how much I could handle, how much I would have to hire out. One thing I liked about this particular company is the way they handled settling. About every 3 or 4 feet, threaded rod would go from the base of the structure all the way to the top of the log. So as the moisture would slowly leave the logs and the house would slowly settle, the logs would shrink, and periodically you would crank down on a nut and keep the house squeezed together. And this would keep the house from warping. In the early spring of 1995, I applied for my building permit. It was a pretty simple process. Of course, they want a fee, and the county gave me a simple packet that kind of had a checklist of things to do when you're building a home. As the weather began to break, I was looking forward to the excavation process. I would finally have a driveway that I could actually pull my truck down and not get stuck or have to park at the street and walk to the back part of the property. So after clearing out some last-minute stumps, carving out the driveway with a bulldozer, it was time for the stone delivery. 1s and 2s are what they started with. They're a little bit bigger stones, maybe a little smaller than your fist. So that was the end of day 1, and I had a couple 100 feet of driveway that I could drive on. Day 2 would not go so well. It seemed each time a new delivery of stone would come that the truck would bury the stone that was just laid down with its tires. So they resorted to using stones called bull nuts, which are probably about 7 or 8 inches in diameter. So each load of stone is approximately 20 tons, and originally we had estimated about 5 or 6 loads to get us our 700-foot driveway. With this particular truck, I got to actually use the bulldozer to pull from the front, and they used a backhoe to push from the back to get it unstuck. So we're about the 500-foot mark, and about another 150 more to go. This trench is back out by the street for the utilities that we're going to be connecting to water and gas. There are two pipelines that run right by our street throughout the state of Ohio, and the pipeline reps have to be there the whole time you're digging, even if you're not going to be close to them. Here's the trench that's going to carry some of the utilities back to the future house. At about the 600-foot mark, there's a creek that goes through the woods, and these two culvert pipes are going to go underneath my driveway. We're at the point where the surveyors come and mark out our foundation and note where the utilities are. This is the platform for the transformer that's going to supply our electricity. Being so far back, we had to get our own transformer. If you're going to do this yourself and you're getting your temporary electric, you might want to check what the codes are. We had our pole set, we put a ground rod into the ground, and we had the right gauge wire, but it was braided, and they would not hook it up to our temporary pole. I needed one utility pole set near the road, and from that point, the electric went underground. It's getting very close to my delivery date of the log home package, and they're just starting on the foundation now. Unfortunately, the company I hired to do the foundation happened to get a contract with Country Buffet, which is an all-you-can-eat restaurant, and they were going to put up several restaurants in our area, and needless to say, my project got put on the back burner. Something a bit unusual with our placement of the house, there seemed to be some underground streams or maybe a high water table, so we had to put a sump pump in the ground to keep our hole from filling up with water. We also had to take extra precautions with drain tile. Drain tile was run on the outside of the foundation and on the inside and right down the middle. So the foundation is going at a snail's pace. I'm going to have to take delivery pretty soon. I cannot hold off delivery any longer from the log home company. And it doesn't appear that I'm going to be able to put all the logs around the foundation because it won't be backfilled and I won't have any flat earth to store anything on. Out of all the trucks that come down this new driveway, this would be the baddest. Weighing in over 70 tons, It's called the Stone Slinger. Not too easy to see much of the gravel that was laid in that driveway. Delivery day. It's a Saturday morning, 2 large flatbed trucks, and they give you 3 hours to unload them. Most companies will recommend that you get a tow motor with a forklift. If you get a forklift, I recommend this type here with the all-terrain tires. This really helped out. All the logs were marked, they had a specific number and assigned to a specific wall. So we were able to unload the flatbeds in under 3 hours. We were kind of scrambling around to find materials to set the logs on to keep them out of the mud. We were looking for pallets, pieces of wood, anything we could use, because there were so many items that we had to lay down the driveway and we couldn't get near the foundation at the time. The whole unloading process went well. Now my hands were just in the fate of the guys doing the foundation, and hopefully they would get it done soon. Thanks for watching part 1. Part 2 will be coming up probably in a couple weeks or maybe a month or so. I have other videos working around the house, some chores, and a couple from Southern Ohio, and we're heading down to Tennessee shortly, so there'll be one for there. So thanks for watching us. I hope you enjoy it. Subscribe if you like it, and keep an eye on us.